Hi, I'm Coach Micheal Burt. To get a free copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, text 678-506-7543. Text to get a copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, and I'm going to turn you into a legendary creature.
Hey everybody, what's up Facebook? Day 21 or 21. But Pete, this was supposed to happen and stop after day 20. Yeah, we extended it 3 more days. And I've got an incredible announcement and great news for anybody that might be late to the party. Because yesterday was the biggest day of people registering for the Rise Up World Challenge. Why? Because of you. Why? Because of these speakers that have given us so much momentum and given us so much wisdom. That's why. And so if today's your first day, you're going to hear some good news here in the next 3 minutes that you're going to be like, wow, Pete, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you've been here for all 20 days, I love it. Good for you. If this is your 21st day, how many days have you been here? I want to see 10,000 comments today in the chat. And I want you engaged on Facebook. And we got hundreds and hundreds of platinum people back here. But no matter what day you're on, your second day, your 21st day, your lucky day number 2, 18, day 3, I can only see the platinum folks. But what are we saying online right now? How many days have you been here? How many days have you been here? We got 21 days. So we've got every day, got 21 days. So we've been here 16 the entire time. Like, guys, I am so excited because today is the 21st day and we're going till Monday. We're going till Monday. And today we got a treat for you today. Today is family day. And it's going to be an incredible day. Family day is going to be an incredible day today. I'm so excited to have family day today. And we've got a great lineup for you. So if you're new to the Rise Up World Challenge, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a challenge that was created to help you take back all 7 areas of your life. All 7 areas of your life, your business, your mindset, your finances, your health, your relationships, your personal growth, your spiritual growth. Every area of your life is what this was intended to help you take back. And I just want you to know I'm so excited to have all of you from across the world today. I want to know where you're chiming in from across the world today. Where are you chiming in from? Don't worry. Unfortunately, only day 4. Don't worry. If it's day 1, don't worry because of what I'm about to tell you. If it's day 1, don't worry. You got California. We got Virginia. We've got Cincinnati. We've got New York City. We've got Pittsburgh. We got Oregon. We got the Bay. We've got, everywhere. Las Vegas. We got Arlington. Where's my international folks? Facebook. Backstage folks are lighting it up more. They're engaged. Who's backstage? All of our platinum level folks are backstage with us right now. They are lighting it up. Light it up on Facebook for me. We got Nebraska. We got James from San Francisco. We've got we got Linda from Florida. We've got Dawn from the UK. We've got Paresh from Los Angeles, man. What's up, buddy? I miss you. We got somebody from Panama, Florida. We got Tammy from Orlando. We've got Irene from Panama City. We got Priscilla from San Diego. We've got David from North Carolina. Ann from San Francisco. Today is day 21. And what I want to encourage you here on Facebook is to make sure that you're sharing this with your family and friends. All you have to do right below my video is it says start watch party. Start a watch party. Today you're in for a treat. Today you're in for a treat. You're going to be coached today by a coach. You're going to be inspired today by an Olympic athlete. And you're going to have a deeper connection today with your family, your friends, your staff, your employees, everybody in your life because of a guy that's been on the New York Times best-selling list for, I think, over 30 years and has sold 22 million books around the one word that matters the most in life, which is love. There's not a word that matters more in life than love. And today the world needs more love. And so that's the lineup today. It's going to be amazing. And every moment today is going to be so impactful today, guys. And I'm so excited for all of you that are here on Family Saturday. Family Saturday is not a day to miss. It's a day to cherish. It's a day to, this is the day, Saturday and Sunday, I believe, have a deeper impact than just business on people's lives, but really on the inside of people's lives today. So today, guess what? You're going to understand how to have confidence like you've never had confidence from a coach that coached a women's basketball team. You're going to understand how to have resiliency and grit. I don't know about you parents out there, but the number one thing I wish that I pray for my kids outside of their faith is resiliency and grit. And you're going to understand from a young lady who lost both her legs at age 19, how she did that. And then the last thing that you're going to understand is you're going to understand how to love people in the way that they want to be loved. Your spouse, your significant other, your kids, your family, your employees. You're going to understand how to love people in the way that they want to and how they desire to be loved today. It's a magical day. I'm like, quite frankly, God, how did you orchestrate this day? Because all of this day has come together last minute. And it is going to be a powerful day. So welcome to Rise Up World, day 21. Now listen, on Thursday, we hosted this. We have comprised close to 60 speakers over the course of these 21 days that would cost you $5 million to pay in speaker fees to get them in the same room. And you've had the opportunity to, if you've been here since day one, hear many of them. And this past Thursday, we had a marathon day where we had 20 of those speakers. 20 of those speakers. We went 7 hours. And we did not send the replays of those. Any of those people that are in our platinum, gold, or silver levels will get access to Thursdays, plus every speaker that has ever been here thus far. But what I want you guys to know is because of all of my international folks, because of the people who work during the weekdays, because of all of the messages me and my team got, we're going to make an exception to the rule. Thursday's marathon day, we are going to give you 3 times to register to watch the first part of it, the first 3.5 hours of it. You're going to get to register. There's 3 times that you can register to watch part 1 of it in the next 24 hours. There's 3 separate times, so it matches up with our international. We're running an encore of it today and through tomorrow morning. And then from tomorrow morning to tomorrow afternoon, we're going to run the encore of part 2 of it, which is the second 3.5 hours. So you can come and do 2 sit downs of it, but you have to watch it in one of the 3 time frames. It's not just up on a page. You can choose an encore time. And right now, part 1 has 3 encore times. If you go to riseupworld.com/encore, you can go watch the first part of it today at 4 p.m. Eastern, today at 7 p.m. Eastern, or tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. And you're going to get to hear me, Sarah Blakely, David Bach, Shanda Sumner, Michael Hyatt, Sean T, Jamie Kern-Lima, Damon John, Roger Love, Marie Forleo, Justin Forsett, and Mary Morrissey. That's part 1. And then tomorrow, there will be 3 times that we run encores of it for part 2. You have to be there during that time. Like, it runs nonstop. Now, there's not folks in the comment section, just full transparency, but so many of you asked for this. And so today, for the next 24 hours, we're giving a couple of times to be able to run encores, 3 times for part 1, 3 times for part 2. I hope that you guys appreciate that. Part 2 will have the other 11 speakers that are about sales and marketing, and Dean Graziosi and Jesse Itzler and Jay Abraham and Lisa Nichols and Molly Bloom, and so many more. Part 2 will happen tomorrow. We just didn't want to make them 7 hours long, so we ran a part 1 and a part 2 encore. Team, thank you for figuring that out so quickly. Thank you for figuring that out so quickly from a technology standpoint. Thank you, Rachel, for making that happen. Because I told the team on Friday, we got a lot of people who didn't get to see it. I'm not going to just send out the replays. Can we run an encore? And so there's 3 encore times for part 1, 3 encore times for part 2. Enjoy that from us. That's our gift from us to you. And we just want to say thank you so much for being a part of this Rise Up World Challenge. One final reminder, Monday night, you can get access to all of the recordings and all of the interviews from every day, plus the workbook. And all of the profits are going to 4 amazing charities that are supporting nonprofits that are helping serve small businesses and entrepreneurs. And Monday night, the value of those programs, we have 3 levels. We have a silver, a gold, and a platinum. And I'm telling you, the value of the platinum has over $20,000 worth of programs that our speakers charge for day in and day out that they've donated back to all 3 of these levels. When you're platinum, you get everything in the gold and silver. When you're gold, you get everything in the gold. In platinum, gold, and silver, gold, and silver, and silver, the silver. And what I want to encourage you to do is make sure you take advantage of that before Monday night, because Monday night, all of the programs from the speakers go away. We'll continue to sell the recordings and the workbook probably for several $100s in the future, but not all of the programs that all of these speakers have stacked into these 3 levels. So go take advantage of that, because that's an incredible resource, an incredible value, lifetime access to all of that stuff. And you can go to riseupworld.com/feedback, riseupworld.com/feedback. Cool? That's awesome. So this is what I want to do before we transition to our first speaker. On Monday, we're going to be recapping everything that you've learned. Check this out. Everything that you've learned, we're going to break it down to a top 10 things, like the top 10 things that you've learned. And then we're going to break it down to 3 action items that you're going to take and run with. That's what we're going to be doing on Monday. We're going to be doing that on Monday. We're also going to be bringing in Barry and Blue, who run my virtual events. And we're going to be talking to you about how do you run a virtual event? How do you run a virtual event? And then we're going to bring on some experts that are around online stages like webinars and podcasts and many other things. And we're going to be teaching you on Monday how to begin to get your message out on more digital stages and build your own events from the comfort of your home. It could be 10 moms. It could be 10 kids. It could be 10 graduates. It could be 10 pastors. Like, you have this opportunity in this virtual economy to do things well. And then we're going to give you your final homework assignment. And we're going to end Monday, the challenge, very powerfully. If people just get Monday, I'm telling you, it's worth it. Just Monday is worth it. Tomorrow, we're bringing Rich Wilkerson to you live, who is one of Kanye West's pastors. Tomorrow is Faith Day. And we're also going to bring you a very special surprise, a close friend of mine, Daniel Grothy, who you will not want to miss on Faith Day. Those 2 folks, and then I got a special surprise, a special speaker that I'm bringing in the middle tomorrow as well. And so that's tomorrow. I'm excited about tomorrow, but I can't wait to get rolling today. So today we're going to do this, and then we're going to go backstage with Amy Purdy and Gary Chapman today. We're going to go backstage with both of them at the end. Anybody that's a platinum level or has even gotten a platinum today, make sure to join us back here in the Zoom room, because you get to go backstage with us and ask our speakers questions at the very end today. But what I want to do to kick Family Day off is, I believe one of the things that you have to have in your life is confidence, powerful confidence. And when confidence is taken away, it's detrimental. Like yesterday, if I'm being fully transparent with you, there was a little bit of my day, not a little bit of my day, a couple of my hours of my day where confidence, I questioned confidence in some things. I lost a little confidence, and I could see what it did for me in a short few hours. But one of the things that I've gotten really good at is beginning to understand how to rebound and get that confidence back quickly, where in the past it would take me weeks to recover, and then days, and now I'm learning how to do it in hours. And I'm so excited for the next 15 minutes to bring a friend of mine, a student of ours, a former high school basketball coach, Yeah, we need a coach in the house today to talk about how you build, maintain, and protect your confidence. I'm excited for my good friend, Coach Burt, to help you understand how to do all three of those, whether you're a kid at home, a teenager at home, a parent at home. All of us need confidence. Coach Burt, welcome to the Rise Up World Challenge.
Thank you, Pete Vargas, and I'm so honored to be part of this. I'm so proud of you for everything you're doing in the world, man. You inspire me every day. The speakers have inspired me, and I've watched almost every day, and every day I've gotten something, and every day my confidence has gotten higher. So thank you for having me today.
Yes, I love it. Well, hey, listen, why don't you, I don't want to take any time away from you, man. Why don't you jam on confidence? And I'm going to sit back and take notes like I do every single day.
Good. Well, welcome, Rise Up Challenge, folks. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. And I do believe confidence is the one thing that affects everything. Confidence is the one thing that affects all 7 billion people on planet Earth. And me, like Pete said, if I could give my daughter and my son that's on the way this month, one thing outside of faith, to me, it would be this confidence, this internal knowing that they can create or manifest what they see in their mind. So for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to break this concept down for you. I want to build an unbreakable confidence in you. I want to build confidence that when you get a hurt feeling in your life, you immediately convert that hurt feeling to an action versus stay down for 2 days or 3 days or 4 days, like Pete said. So I want to tell you my story to tie this together, because I was raised in a small town in Tennessee by a single mother who had me when she was 16 years old. And she used to work 2 and 3 jobs. And I watched that woman scratch and claw for everything that we had. And while she was working her second job, she would take me down to the local baseball field where I would stay for hours and hours. I found out that was a cheap babysitting service, right? And while I was at that baseball field at 6 years old, one female baseball coach named Mickey Vincent tended to me, cared for me, fed me, watched over me. And she gave me a gift at 6 years old. She said, son, one of these days, you're going to be a great coach. Now, I want you to think about the power of that affirmation, because many times confidence comes from another person affirming and validating the worth and potential in you in so clear a way, you begin to see it in your own self. So that seed she planted in my mind at 6 years old would work a cycle in my life. Now, if you're going to do something big in the world, you're going to have to go through a cycle. And the cycle is, first you have some big revelation, some big dramatic moment in your life, right? Something hits you. When she said that to me, son, one of these days you're going to be a great coach, it planted a seed in my mind. It was a revelation. It was a revelation that a good coach can change your life. A good coach can take you to a place that you never even knew you wanted to go to. Because of the revelation, you now have a conviction. And a conviction is a deep-seated belief inside of you that gives you the motivation you need to pursue, to work the muscle, to go the distance. Because of the revelation, you then take action. You do whatever it takes. You find a way. And as my granddad used to say, if you got to want to, son, you can find a how to. So my revelation was, a good coach can change your life. I want you thinking about your revelation. My second thing, I had a conviction, deep-seated belief. We can't see the picture when we're inside the frame. We need the help of another person to activate our potential, which is just kinetic energy that is stored until utilized. And because of that, I took action. I made up my mind that I would spend the rest of my life activating the drive and confidence in other people. I want to ask you a question that one of my coaches asked me. What would both fascinate and motivate you for the rest of your life? You see, I'm 43 years old today, and my whole life I've been coaching people. And where did it start? At 6 years old. At my single mother teaching me how to activate my prey drive and protect my confidence. And every day we get up. And you know, that mom taught me 3 really big lessons. She said, son, we don't whine, we don't complain, and we don't make excuses. We grow up, we show up, and we deliver. My mother wouldn't let me miss a day of school growing up, guys. For 12 years, she wouldn't let me miss a day of school. Even when other kids wouldn't go, I'd say, Mom, will you let me stay home for a day? Because the other kids get, she said, no, sir. We don't whine, we don't complain, we don't make excuses. We grow up, we show up, and we deliver. And I hated that, guys, growing up. But she was conditioning me. You see, one of the biggest things we lack today is the confidence and conditioning when we meet adversity. Adversity is the departure away from the ideal scene. Nobody could have predicted this period at our time. Nobody could have predicted a virus. How tough and conditioned are you to have a confidence that says this: if we got to want to, we can find a how to. And that's really what my mother taught me during that period growing up. She was my coach. She was teaching me. We show up every day. We work the muscle every day, and good things happen when we work the muscle. So in my opinion, you have two choices during this period, because now we coach thousands of business owners around the world, entrepreneurs, small business owners. And here's what I found. There's two types of people in the world: those that are contracting during this period, and those are expanding during this period. And you got to make up your mind which one you're going to do. Are you going to control? When you meet adversity, when you have an unwanted outcome, when you have a departure away from the ideal scene, what do? Do you contract or do you expand? Big time people use fear as fuel. Fear is an emotion, and an unpleasant emotion created by a belief that something's going to harm me in the future. It steals away our present and causes us to worry about what? The future. Something that's haven't even happened yet. So I want you to think of this mindset like this, and this is directly tied to confidence. King David in the Bible had a mindset. If he would have known how tough it was going to be when he became king, he probably would have said, no, don't sign me up for that, right? But he had a mindset. And the mindset was, it's going to be a fight, but we're going to win. If you will bring this mindset into every day, it's going to be a fight. You have proper expectation. It's not going to be easy. Long obedience in the same direction. Mastery is a 10-year cycle with a coach giving correction. It's going to be a fight every day, folks, but we're going to find a way to win. And if you will bring that mindset every day, you're going to have a good confidence about you, because you understand your confidence is not predicated by any external factor. Your confidence is not predicated about what the world thinks about you. Your confidence is yours. It cannot be taken away unless you give it to something, and you disempower your own self and allow some external factor to control you. So I have three mindsets I come into every day with. Number one, we go to bed tired and we wake up hungry. We go to bed tired and we wake up hungry. We have exerted all of our force, all of our energy in the day. And when we lay our head down at night, we go to bed tired, and the next day we wake up hungry. And you know why? Because you got to tell yourself that it all goes to zero at midnight. No matter what you've accumulated in your life, it all goes to zero. We start over at zero every single day, which leads me to my third belief. There comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. You see, when I was coaching those high school basketball players, those moms and dads would drop their daughters off to me, and they all said the same thing. Coach, my daughter has a lot of potential. Potential is just kinetic energy that is stored until utilized. It's the idea of embryonic growth. It will be better today than we were yesterday, that we will never stop getting better. And I would ask those moms and dads, and I'm going to ask you guys watching today with your kids, I would say, Mom and Dad, I got a question that I have to ask you. And it's an important question. And you may not like it, but I got to ask you. You're telling me your daughter has potential. She just needs a few things: confidence, bounce back, discipline, accountability. She just needs a good coach, right? And I would say, is your daughter watching you reach your potential? And those moms and dads would go, oh, coach, like I didn't know you were going to be coaching me, right? And I'd say, is it not hypocritical for us to tell our children that they have potential? They have this kinetic energy inside of them, but they watch their mom and dad not reach their potential. See, every morning when I put my 7-year-old daughter in the car and she goes off to school, I look at her and I say, sweetheart, today we're going to do something big. And she looks back at me and she says, big, Daddy, we're going to do something big. So for you, I want you to understand as a coach that the best thing that ever happened to me was at 18 years old, a mentor of mine said to me, if you don't read another book this year, pick up a copy of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I had never read a personal growth book. I had never studied personal development. At my small school in that rural town in Tennessee, they didn't teach personal development. And I picked up a copy of that book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in that book, he introduced me to a model called the whole person theory. And the whole person theory says people are made up of 4 parts: a body, a mind, a heart, and a spirit. And each of those parts produce different needs and different intelligences and different capacities and different dimensions. And when I read that, I said, I'm going to use sport to teach life. I'm going to use sport as a distribution channel to teach my players how to be successful. And I made up my mind that day that I was going to teach the 7 habits of highly effective people to every player that played for me. I was going to teach them the principles of good to great. I was going to teach them the 5 dysfunctions of teams, the power of intention by Wayne Dyer. I was going to teach my kids how to be successful through sport. And guess what? The more I tapped into the body, that represents skill. The more I tapped into the mind, that represents knowledge. The more I tapped into the heart, that represents drive, passion, compassion. The more I tapped into the spirit, which is connection to a higher power, a connection to confidence. The more I tapped into all four parts of our nature, we begin to build what I called a competitive intelligence. Wouldn't it be nice if you could teach your children how to thrive in a modern and competitive world? How to bounce back quickly, like Pete talked about, when they have adversity, when they have a departure away from the ideal scene. So I began to coach the whole child. And guess what began to happen? We begin to win games and win games and win games and then win championships and become one of the #1 teams in the country. And people were constantly asking me, what are you doing with those kids? And I said, I'm coaching the whole child, the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit of these people. If you have employees, if you have teams of people, if you have family members and you see potential in them, then what you have to do is connect to all four parts of their nature. Now, here's the good thing about confidence. The more knowledge you have, the more confident you are. The more skill you have, the more confident you are. The more effort you put into something, the more confident you are. Confidence is the caboose to knowledge, skills, and desire. And when you feed these things, when every day you go to work on these four parts. So I start every day off with something spiritual. I watch a sermon every morning. I give the Lord the first 10% of my day every day. And then I work my body physically and exercise. And then I go home and see my family and my daughter and my wife, and I work my emotional part. And then I work my mental capacity by listening to something like this on the way into work, the Rise Up Challenge, and listening to the speakers. Before I get to work at 8:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, guess what? I have fed all four parts of my nature, and my confidence is high. And I am ready with the mindset of it's going to be a fight, guys, but we're going to find a way to win. So I want you to think of confidence like this, because in the book, Swag, How to Build, Maintain, and Protect Your Greatest Asset, I talk about confidence as a science. And I've codified this through 28 years of coaching people around the world, kids, adults. Confidence is the memory of success. That's one definition of confidence. It's the memory of success. So when people saying yesterday, I lost a little bit of my confidence, when he went back to, oh, no, look at what I'm doing. Look at the amount of money we're raising for charity. Look at the number of people I put on stages. When he remembers that piece of confidence, boom, his confidence is back up, because confidence is the memory of success. But what if you haven't had any success lately? I was speaking in New York City once, and a woman came up to me and she said, look, you told me confidence was the memory of success. She said, but I haven't had any confidence, coach. I hadn't made any sales. My life's not going well. I think your confidence, your definition of confidence stinks. And I said, okay, let me step back and think about this, because what if you haven't had the memory of success? Confidence then is an internal knowing that you can create or manifest what you see in your mind. It is the instinctual ability to see something with the eyes optically or the mind and have the guts to go get it. It is also, this is my favorite definition of confidence, it is you distributing your unique talents to the world, and the world rewarding you in the form of love and affirmation and reputation and referrals and money. See, I actually believe work can be the distribution channel for your God-given talents. So think of confidence like that. How do we build it? We build it through repetition. You know, as a basketball coach, we used to have our players take 500 shots a day. On average, I spent 5.5 hours a day with those kids. And we used to have them in the day by taking 500 shots. Do you know what happens when you take 500 shots a day? Muscle memory happens. You guys saw Tim Grover, my buddy, speak the other day, and he says when you get in the heat of battle, thinking is actually a liability. And I 100% agree. The reason you work the muscle is because you don't have time to think when you get in the game. So we build confidence through repetition. We build confidence through preparation. By Sunday night at 7 p.m., every person in my company has to turn in their strategies for manifesting our goals this week. My personal assistant, Melissa Cole, my entire sales team, my president, every person turns in what they're going to do this week. You know why? Because confidence is built through preparation. When it comes to Monday, we're in the game. We don't have time to think. We have to execute. The third thing we build confidence is through execution. You've heard me use that work the muscle. The more you work the muscle, the more confidence you build. That's how you build confidence. Now, how do you maintain confidence? Once you build it, how do you maintain it? proper expectation. What's the expectation, guys? It's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win. Number two, and this is one of the best things you can do during this period, routine. Just because you're working from home doesn't mean you don't need to stay in your routine. Confidence is maintained through a routine. You worked it every single day. So if you get up at 5 o'clock, normally you need to get up at 5 o'clock now. You need to feed the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. And here's the best way you can maintain your confidence. You diversify your confidence. See, just like a financial advisor may tell you to diversify your finances, here's what I would tell you. Don't put all of your confidence in one bucket. Put all of your confidence in 6, 7, 8 buckets. Look at my confidence. It's in my body. It's in my mind. It's in my heart. It's in my spirit. It's in other things. It's in my relationships. It's in my vocation. Because here's what I know. On any given day, one part of your nature is not going to be clicking like you want it to. When you diversify your confidence, now your confidence is strong when that confidence takes a hit. So let me finish with this. If you lose your confidence, that confidence can be gotten back. That confidence can be gotten back. And you know how you get the confidence back? Through many victories. One small step at a time. Now, I want to challenge you. I believe you owe it to yourself to activate your confidence. I believe you owe it to yourself to teach your kids how to build, maintain, and protect your confidence. And the biggest thing I believe is I believe you need to always know that who's coaching you and your kids could be the single greatest advantage you have in the world. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Thank you for letting me coach you for the last 15 minutes. Pete Vargas, thank you for having me. God bless you for doing this. And you guys go out there and activate that kinetic energy inside of you, because you have something inside of you to do something so big in the world. And with a good coach, they can help you do it.
Coach, amazing, man. So, hey, everybody on Facebook in here, I want to give out 10 of Coach's books. Everybody needs a coach in life. I've been saying that. Like, when you leave this, guys, everybody needs a great coach. You need a great coach for your kids. You need one for you. I want to know, what was the biggest takeaway that you had from Coach Burt's 15 minutes here today? And I'll tell you mine, because my wife heard me like getting goosebumps and saying amen and preaching. Here is my notes from Coach Burt today. That's my notes. I'm a student. That entire page, if you look at it, Coach, you see everything that's you. It ain't nobody else's notes. That's Coach Burt's notes. And the biggest thing for me, my biggest nugget, if I wanted to win a book today, I'd win a book, because this is how I would show up powerfully. I would say, Coach, today you said something that I've heard nobody ever else say in my life, which was diversify my confidence. And Coach, one of the reasons why I lose my confidence so much is because of the fact that I have it. The times I'm losing my confidence is when I'm putting it all in my business. And when I'm reminded that I have a beautiful wife and 4 beautiful kids, I have an incredible Father in heaven who loves me. I have great friends. I'm healthy. My blood work is well. Now all of a sudden I'm diversifying my confidence. And so, Coach, for the first time, I've heard people tell me to diversify my portfolio, but today I'm choosing to diversify my confidence. My team will tell you I would have won a book like that. That's how you show up in the comments section. But that was my big takeaway, guys. And that's huge. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to add one more thing to the platinum level today. Coach Burt has an entire course on helping people build, maintain, and protect their confidence. And he's going to give it to all of our platinum level folks that donate back to the charities at the platinum level. And that's all of these people backstage. Guys, there ain't nothing else going in silver and gold. They're stacked. Platinum's only going to get deeper. It's only going to get deeper. So, Coach, thank you so much for being with us today, man. And thank you for making that donation back to the levels.
Absolutely. Pete, God bless you. Thank you for having this, man. I'm honored.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. All right, everybody. So, hey, listen, this is where we're at. Like, we got to start it off with the coach. And I think that's perfect, because we're about to get the athlete here. So we got to start with the coach. Then we got to move to the athlete. And then we're going to move to the sage and the wisdom of somebody who's had a book on New York Times for 30 years. I could be wrong. It might be 25 years, but every year in 22 million books. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to finish with an activity today that's going to be so meaningful for your family and so meaningful for our speakers. Some of you are going to make a decision to do something powerful today with the homework assignment. and it's gonna change the dynamic of your life with your family and those that you love. And it's also gonna change the dynamic with the speakers, because you're gonna get the opportunity to do something for our speakers. And so this next guest of ours, I just gotta be really transparent. We have a little hot tub back here in our backyard. It's kind of our retreat. My wife and I were sitting in there the other day, and I just had kind of mentioned that I had gotten a message from an Olympian, and it was done in such the right manner too. It was like just the perfect manner, and I started talking to her about this Paralympian that had reached out to me, and then instantly Kim stopped me. Kim, come over here. Kim stopped me, and Kim said, "Oh, I forgot who I should have told you who we should have on the Rise Up World Challenge." And I was like, who? And she's like, and so we figured out who it was. And so I ran inside to get my phone. She's like, her story is so powerful. She's so powerful. She's moved me. She's inspired me. So I go run into my office over here, grab my phone. And I said, "Was it Amy Purdy by chance?" "Yes, that's her. That's her." And I literally had just received a message from Amy. You guys are in for a treat for the next 25 minutes today. Amy Purdy is a New York Times bestselling author who's been published in 10 languages across the world. She has spoken on some of the largest stages in the world, including TED and a national tour with Oprah Winfrey. Her life was focused on a top Super Bowl commercial narrated by legendary Muhammad Ali. She absolutely killed it on Dancing with the Stars with Derek, and she's currently the most decorated Paralympian snowboarder in the history of Team USA. Not only that, but she has done all of that with 2 prosthetic legs. If you want to see someone who knows what it means to rise up and be resilient, I can't think of anyone better. I'm so excited to have her here with us today. So Amy Purdy, welcome to the Rise Up World Challenge. And I wanted you to meet my lovely wife, Kim, as well.
Hi, you guys. I just want to make sure you can hear me. Okay, there we go. Hi, you guys. Kim, it's so great to meet you. It's so amazing how things happen, right? Like just kind of serendipitous. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Can everybody hear me? Okay, great. Okay, great. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is here on the Rise Up Challenge. You guys are showing up for charity. You guys are showing up for yourselves, and you're also showing up for your communities. And that really is so inspiring and so amazing. And today, what I want to talk about is resiliency and some of the steps that I learned along the way. But if there's just one thing that I hope that you walk away with today, it's that it's not about overcoming your obstacles, because that's something that we'll all hear about, right? It's about overcoming our obstacles. It's really about using them. So I grew up in the hot Las Vegas desert, which is not exactly where you expect a pro snowboarder to come from. But all I wanted was to be free. I wanted to travel the world, live in a place where it snowed, and pictured all these stories that I would go on to tell. And at the age of 19, I actually moved to a place where it snowed. I moved to Salt Lake City, Utah, where I became a massage therapist. Because with this job, all I needed were my hands on my massage table by my side, and I could go anywhere. For the first time ever, I felt free, independent, and completely in control of my life. I loved my job. I was actually working for Steve Wynn. I was working for his high rollers. I was making so much money at 19 years old. And I was also just making a big impact. I was helping to heal other people's lives. And I absolutely loved my job. And I remember telling my mom that I feel like I'm on top of the world. And then suddenly my life took a detour. I went home from work one day with what I thought was the flu. And less than 24 hours later, I was in the hospital on life support. I was given less than a 2% chance of living. It wasn't until 5 days later, as I lay in a coma and as the doctors debated outside my hospital room, who was going to tell my parents that it was time to pull the plug, that I was actually diagnosed not with the flu, but with something called meningococcal meningitis, which is this little bacteria that somehow got into my bloodstream. And over the course of 2.5 months, I ended up losing my spleen. I lost my kidney function. I lost the hearing in my left ear. And due to the septic shock that my body went into, I ended up losing both of my legs below the knees. So my life changed like that. I went from being a normal 19-year-old without a care in the world who could throw on a dress and a pair of flip-flops and run out the door and not think twice about it, to now relying on machines, mechanics, and medical innovation in order to live and in order to even survive. And I thought that the worst was over. That is until I saw my new legs for the very first time. They were these bulky blocks of metal with pipes bolted together for the ankles. I mean, they looked like they were straight out of the Home Depot plumbing department. They were just pipes bolted together. And I thought, those can't possibly be my legs. And they had this yellow rubber foot with this raised rubber line that was supposed to make a vein on my foot. And I was just devastated. I thought, how am I going to travel the world in these things? How was I going to live this life full of adventure and stories as I always wanted? And how was I going to snowboard again? This day I went home. My mom went to her bed. I went to my bed. We didn't get out for 18 hours. We were absolutely just emotionally devastated, thinking about, it makes me emotional actually, thinking about what my life was going to be like. And little did I know at that time that my biggest loss, my legs, would eventually become my biggest asset. But all I knew at that time was that I had to somehow learn how to let go of the old Amy and somehow learn how to embrace the new Amy. And it was in these tough days that I asked myself this really important question. If my life was a book, and I was the author of that book, how would I want this story to go? You know, I couldn't control the beginning, but what if I can control the end? How would I want the story to go? And asking myself this question allowed me to become really clear on what I wanted in my life and what I didn't want in my life. And what I didn't want is I didn't want people feeling sorry for me. I didn't want people to know me as, oh, the girl who's got 2 prosthetic legs, the girl with a disability. And so that allowed me to think of what I did want. And what I did want is I saw myself walking gracefully. I saw myself somehow helping other people through this journey. And I saw myself snowboarding again. And I visualized it so strongly that I could actually feel it. I could feel the wind against my face and the beat of my racing heart as if it was happening in that very moment. And that fire and that passion that I felt inside, that is when a new chapter of my life began. 4 months later, 4 months after I lost my legs, I was back up on a snowboard. Although things didn't go quite as expected, my knees and my ankles wouldn't bend. And at one point I fell and my goggles went one way, my beanie went the other way, and my legs, still attached to my snowboard, went flying down the mountain. And meanwhile, I was still sitting on top of the mountain, totally embarrassed. I heard a lady scream from the chairlift. And, you know, I'm sure she racked up years of therapy bills after that. Like, she literally just saw somebody break into pieces. And I was so discouraged. I thought, this is obviously why you don't see people with 2 prosthetic legs snowboarding. But then I thought, well, if I can figure out a way to keep these detachable body parts attached to my body, if I can figure out a way to get my ankles to bend in the way that I need them to, then maybe I can do this again. And this is when I learned that our obstacles can only do 2 things. 1, stop us dead in our tracks, or 2, force us to get creative. So that's what I did. I went home, I called every adaptive ski school across the country to see if they ever worked with somebody with 2 prosthetic legs. They all said no. I called every leg manufacturer to see if they made prosthetic legs for snowboarding. They all said no. So I decided to make a pair myself. My leg maker and I, we put random parts together and we made a pair of feet that I could snowboard in. They're made out of wood, rubber, rusted bolts, and neon pink duct tape. And they're actually now in the Smithsonian. So if you're walking around and you see a pair of feet with neon pink duct tape, you know who they belong to. But I ended up making these feet and they worked. It was these feet, the best 21st birthday gift I could ever receive, a new kidney from my dad, and just the relentless desire to get creative and find a way that allowed me to snowboard again and allowed me to follow my dreams again. I then started a nonprofit organization with my husband, Daniel, and we work with athletes and wounded veterans with disabilities, and we get them involved in snowboarding. And we ended up helping to get snowboarding into the Paralympic Games. And once the race to get snowboarding into the games was over, I then began the race to make the first ever US Paralympic snowboard team. And I became completely obsessed and committed with finding a way to make it happen, because I was the only double leg amputee competitive snowboarder worldwide on the men's side and on the women's side. So I had to work harder than everybody else. I was competing against girls who had their legs or who had one prosthetic leg. The human foot has over 150 bones and muscles. I have one piece of carbon fiber and that's it. So I had to work harder than everybody else. And over the course of a year, I ended up gaining about 15 pounds of muscle. I made the US snowboard team and I headed to Sochi, Russia, where I'm honored to say I became the first female to ever bring home a bronze medal in Paralympic snowboarding, which actually I have my medal right here. If you've never seen an Olympic medal, it's really heavy. And then I went back for my second Paralympic Games in 2018. I won 2 more medals, but what's even better than that is that the athletes from our organization, including 2 young wounded veterans, were able to bring home 6 Olympic medals for our country and for Team USA. And when I look back at my life and the things that I've done, I think none of this would have happened if I didn't become clear during my darkest days. If I didn't become clear on what I wanted to be and what I didn't want to be. And if we didn't get creative, I wanted to snowboard again, but I had to build the legs to get there. We wanted to get snowboarding in the Paralympics, but we had to create the organization to get there. And then I had to get absolutely obsessed and committed to the goal of getting there so that nothing could get in my way. And I don't know about you guys, but when I commit myself, when you truly commit yourself, nothing can stop you. Nothing can get in your way, because all you have to do is get creative to find a way. And that's why I believe that commitment is one of the biggest keys to resiliency. You know, I knew that I wanted to be a professional snowboarder. I had no idea that it would take losing my legs to get there. I had to take this crazy detour to get there, but I still had my eyes on the goal. I just had to get creative to get there. So sometimes our detours will lead us to our destiny. And I learned all this too when I was on the TV show Dancing with the Stars. I had never danced before. In fact, I failed cheer and I failed trying out for dance class when I was in high school. I was not the dancer of the family. Dancing with the Stars found out about me because I was on a billboard going into the Paralympic Games, and they asked me to be on the show, and I was totally terrified. I thought, what if I make a fool of myself? But before I knew it, I was in Sochi where I was competing, and my partner, Derek Huff, flew over there. I would snowboard for 4 hours in the morning, and I would dance for 4 hours each night. And 4 days later, so all the other stars had about a month to prepare for their first dance. I only had 4 half days to prepare. But after I won my medal, I literally stepped off the podium and right onto the Dancing with the Stars stage, where I was suddenly live 72 hours later in front of a studio audience, millions of viewers, and 3 judges dancing the cha-cha-cha. And I had no idea if I would be able to do this. I love that we're talking about confidence, because I'll tell you something that I realize I have always done is I've always committed before I was confident. I always say, yeah, I'll do it. I'll jump in. I'll try. And then I end up getting nervous and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I totally fail at this? But all of my biggest challenges in my life came from all my biggest accomplishments came from my biggest challenges. And so I remember thinking, I don't know if my feet are going to work. I don't know if this has ever been done before. Can somebody in 2 prosthetic legs even dance? There are no feet that are made for the cha-cha. There are no feet that are made for the salsa. So we had to get really creative. My leg maker would overnight feet, all in the hopes they would work in the way that I needed them to. And the feet that we ended up using for the show, I'll show them to you actually, this is one of the feet. This is literally made of foam and wood. That is it. There's nothing high-tech about these feet at all. In fact, the toes fell off halfway through Dancing with the Stars. And then there was another dance that I did where I needed to be able to point my toes. Well, I did that in swimming feet. I actually reached out to the people who made these feet and said, can I dance on the very tips of the toes? And they said, no, these aren't made for even walking. These are made for swimming. So I called back the next day and I said, can I order your feet for swimming? And they ended up sending me these feet, and I ended up dancing on the very tips of the toes. And then there were other dances like the quick step, where you have to be able to really travel across the dance floor. And that's impossible in prosthetic legs, at least in my normal prosthetic legs, because your feet feel like bricks. And so I ended up grabbing these running blades and doing some of my dances in these running blades. So I share this because, each and every week we had a problem to solve. But by being determined to solve that problem, I think we grew more creatively and became more resilient than either of us ever could have imagined. And in the end, all of our hard work paid off when we came in second place, just behind an Olympic gold medalist ice dancer. And the reason I share this with you guys is because there was a time in my life when I was 83 pounds. I had lost my legs. I was hooked to a dialysis machine so that my kidneys would run. And I thought my life was over. But little did I know that it was just beginning. And that is why I believe that no matter how hard things get, we can never give up on ourselves, because in our minds, we can do anything and we can be anything. When I was 19, or when I was young, if somebody had told me when I was 19 years old that I was going to lose my legs, that I was going to lose my kidneys and my health and the life that I knew, I would have said that there's absolutely no way that I would be able to handle that. I had a big vision for myself. I saw myself snowboarding, but I had no idea that I'd be able to go on and be a professional snowboarder. I knew I had a story that I wanted to share, but I had no idea that I would go on to build a 7-figure business doing that. Life can be so much brighter than we ever know, but you just have to step into it. And we all have the potential to do that. We may think that life would be easier without all of the change and without all the challenge that comes our way. But I've learned it's that change and it's that challenge that forces us to figure out what we're really made of. It makes us dig deep. It makes us find our fire, and it makes us get creative, because that's the only way beyond the reality of this current moment, is by accepting what is, and most importantly, daydreaming of what can be. It's just all about looking at our challenges and changing them into motivators, and our obstacles into opportunities to learn and to grow. So maybe instead of looking at all of our challenges and all of our obstacles as something that's negative or bad, maybe we can begin to look at them as blessings, as these magnificent little gifts that can be used to ignite our imaginations and help us go further than we ever knew we could go. Because it's not about overcoming our obstacles. It's about using them. It's about pushing off of them and seeing what amazing places they might bring us. So I just want to end this by asking you guys a question. If your life was a book and you were the author of that book, how would you want your story to go? So thank you guys so much. Pete, thank you so much. I'm just so grateful that you guys are all here today. So I think I think we might be doing a few questions here. I'm not sure, but
no, hey, listen, I'm unmuted now. I'm just blown away, like blown away. I can see it in the comments and Facebook. I want to hear it too. Between here and Facebook, we have 3,000 people, and guys, with Coach Burt and now Amy, we should have 10,000 people. Like, we should have 10,000 people. Like, guys, if you don't share this with your communities, the first two, like around confidence, around resiliency, and about love here in a minute, like, whoa. And now I understand why Kim was so deeply moved. Yes, she was moved because Kim was frail and she lost her kidney, and she was told she had a very small chance of living, like less than a 2% chance of living when she lost her kidney. So I understand why her story connected with why your story connected so much with her. And the question you asked is so beautiful. If my life was a book, how would I want the book to end? There's going to be chapters in our book where there's lows, but the lows of the books are what make the book so great, because the highs are what we love to hear about. We love to hear that people have been through challenges just like us, but they got out of it on the other end okay. And without the lows, there's no great movies and there's no great books out there in the world. And we got that opportunity to be able to create that, and you've done that. And challenges continue to come, will continue to come. And I just think it's beautiful. And this is what I want to do. I want you to hang on for a little bit, because we go backstage with some Q&A here in just a little bit. But what would you, I'm going to ask some questions backstage of her that you guys are going to be blown away by. Cause like, what I'm going to give one good question to everybody watching right now. How do you help create resiliency without a difficult situation or circumstance happening? I mean, yeah.
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I don't know.
There's so many kids. There's so many kids here and parents today.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I know kids will have challenges, but how do you create resiliency without having to fall hard?
You know what? I think it's a matter of, we're all going to have challenges. We are going to fall at some point. We are going to fail at some point. It doesn't have to be some epic situation like mine where I lost my legs and I was in the hospital fighting for my life. Like, it's every little failure just can teach you something. I think as a professional athlete, every time we fall, we just start to learn that that is just part of the process. And if we didn't fall, we wouldn't know how to make ourselves better for next time. So I think it's every tiny little fall and any hiccup. You know, we all have moments of not being confident. We all have that. And that's why I say you have to commit before you're confident, because you jump in, you make a million mistakes, and then all of a sudden you are an expert at what you're doing. So I think it's just looking at the little challenges differently. Instead of like an annoying thing happens, you sit back and go, okay, how can I make myself stronger next time? And then, you know, confidence builds on confidence builds on confidence. So you just kind of eventually you get there, but you have to look at those challenges as opportunities to learn something about yourself. If you don't, then yeah, you might not, you know, come back quite as resilient.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you know, one of the things we're doing is we're raising a lot of money for charity, which is cool. And we've raised multiple six figures and trying to get to the point of raising $1 million for 4 charities. The 2 big ones are SCORE, that support entrepreneurs across the world, and Sarah Blakely Foundation, which supports female entrepreneurship across the world. And so the folks in here, you got 500 folks in here, are the biggest donors, and they get to go backstage with you here in just in about half an hour, 25 minutes. So hang out with us. Today was a treat for me, like such a treat for me, like amazing. And guys, I know Amy and Kim are going to be doing a podcast together, so you get to hear more of the story. But today, I mean, you see the comments and you can't see them on Facebook. But guys, this is what I want to ask you. I want to ask you, Amy has an amazing book that I want to give out called On My Own 2 Feet, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to give 10 of those out, and I want to know your biggest takeaways here and also on Facebook. What was your takeaway from what she just had to say? The team's going to pick 10 of them. And remember, you go to riseupworld.com/prizes. And I think we've probably given, I don't know the math, but I bet you we've given out $100,000, if not tens of thousands of dollars of prizes through these 21 days so far. And I want to give some of her books. Amy, final thoughts for everybody.
You guys, I mean, you know, yes, we are in challenging times, but I find that our greatest gifts can come out of our greatest challenges if we choose to look at them that way, if we choose to find the blessing. I think we're all going to move forward and look back at 2020 as one of the hardest times we've ever gone through, and as one of the biggest growth spurts that we've ever had. So just use this time to get to know yourselves. Use this time to show up for your community. Be what you want to see. If you want to see more inspirational people, more motivation, show up and be that. This world needs you. This world needs your gift, your contribution that only you can bring. So bring it.
I love it. And my wife walked in here and just told me something. I love that. She said the book comes out in November.
No, actually, the book already came out. The audio version, I think, is coming out again in November. But with those 10 copies, I'll make sure to sign those as well. So we'll get those to you.
Awesome. I love that. So hang out. Thank you. Everybody give some love for Amy in the comments right here and right there. Give her some love. Thanks. You. And I'll see you back.
Pete, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for everything you're doing. It's amazing.
Thank you. Hang out. Don't leave us. All right, guys. So listen, one of the things is you can still join us backstage. If you're thinking about this, Monday is when the platinum level goes away. riseupworld.com/giveback. Amy and Gary, our next guest, and maybe another person will be with us backstage afterwards. So make sure you join us backstage. Right when you register for platinum, you get the link to be in our Zoom room. Last but not least, like, hey, how many people feel so blessed from today? Like, it's family day. I hope your kids, do you have your kids? Take pictures with who are you watching this with? Like, I want to know that. I want to see that in the Facebook group. We've seen families, we've seen businesses, we've seen health, we've seen finances, we've seen a lot of things rise up. But the Bible says the greatest of these is love, And I'm a big believer in love. And I could just feel the love in Amy. I could feel the love in Coach Burt today. And I want to tell you what, I don't know, Kim can better tell me. I don't know if this was the first, second, or third book that my wife and I read, but you can see, I know it's well over 1 million copies now, but this was the very first, one of the very first few books that my wife and I read, The 5 Love Languages. And today, you're going to actually get the chance to figure out what this is, what love language you have, your spouse has, your significant other has, your kids have, but you're also going to get to demonstrate some of these languages to our speakers with your homework assignment today, meaning all of our speakers. And so, team, I don't know if there's a hyperlink that we can get ready for that worksheet, because that's the only hyperlink I don't know, or if you can put it in my confidence monitor. But I'm so excited to have Gary Chapman, who is the author of The 5 Love Languages. I believe, if John Ruhlin told me right, 22 million books, New York Times best-selling author, married for 55 years. If any of this is wrong, we just confirmed him 12 hours ago. John Ruhlin confirmed him. And I thought, what an incredible day for Family Day. And so, Mr. Gary Chapman, welcome to the Rise Up World Challenge.
Well, thank you, Pete. It's great to be with you. And my, Amy's story, absolutely incredible. Oh, man.
Yeah, so, I kind of feel that way too. I'm trying to take a deep breath. Like, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, wow.
My wife was telling me, you've got to have her. You've got to have her. I'm like, done, babe. Like, when Mama says anything, I know Mama's love language. I know Mama's love language.
That cover takes me way back, because that was an early cover. Yeah, here's the new cover.
Exactly. That's how I wanted to pull it out so you could actually see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see it marked up.
2 million of this book.
Actually, this particular book, this one book is sold 14 million now, but the whole series, because there's one for 5 love languages of children, 5 love languages of teenagers, single adults, military edition, just on and on. But altogether, yeah, 22 million.
Well, congratulations on the work that this book has done in my marriage and so many people's marriages and families across the world. And congratulations on just being married for, is it 55 years?
To the same woman.
So I want to ask you some about this, because I'm going to have them actually do something today with this, and I'm going to give out 10 copies of this, guys, for your biggest takeaways. But tell me the motivation of what made you write this book, Gary, and what made you write this book?
Well, I've discovered this concept in my counseling. I've been doing marriage counseling now for over 40 years, but they would sit in my office. And one of them, like a wife would say, I just don't feel any love coming from him. And he would say, I don't understand that. I do this and this and this. Why would you not feel loved? And I knew people were sincere, but they were missing each other. And so eventually, I just kept hearing similar stories. And I thought, there's got to be a pattern to this. So I really sat down and read several years of notes that I made when I was counseling and asked myself, when someone said, I feel like my spouse doesn't love me, what did they want? What were they complaining about? And their answers fell into 5 categories. And I later called them the 5 love languages. And I started using that in my counseling, that if you want her to feel love, you got to speak her love language. If you want him to feel love, you got to speak his love language. And I would help couples discover each other's love language, challenge them to go home and try it. Sometimes they would come back, Pete, in 3 weeks and say, Gary, this is changing everything. The whole climate's different now. And then I started using it in small groups of couples, and the same thing would happen. And probably 5 years later, I thought, you know, if I could put this concept in a book, write it in the language of the common person, leave out the psychological jargon, maybe I could help a lot of couples I would never have time to see in my office. That's what motivated me. Of course, little did I know what would happen. And in addition to the English sales, it's been translated and published in over 50 languages around the world, which absolutely blows my mind.
Wow. Wow. And one of the things Kim and I learned early on, so talk about these, I want to first talk about these 5 love languages, because they go across even for teens too, or do they look different for teens and kids? There's 5 love languages.
Same 5 love languages, obviously expressed differently with children and teenagers than you would in a marriage, but basically 5 languages. So I'll give them to you briefly, and they're in no particular order. Words of affirmation, using words to affirm the other person. You look nice in that outfit. Really appreciate what you did. You know, one of the things I like about you is just using words to affirm the person. There's an ancient Hebrew proverb that says life and death is in the power of the tongue. You can kill your spouse, or you can give them life by the way you talk to them. And for some people, words of affirmation is their language. So you give them negative words, critical words, it's like a dagger in their heart. Another love language, acts of service. Doing something for the other person that you know they would like for you to do. In a marriage, that would be such things as cooking meals, washing dishes, vacuuming floors, washing the car, mowing the grass, walking the dog, changing the baby's diaper. Ooh, that's a big one. Remember the old saying, actions speak louder than words. If this is your love language, that's true. Actions will speak louder than words. And then there's gifts. It's universal to give gifts as an expression of love. My academic background before I studied counseling was anthropology. I did an undergrad and a master's degree in cultural anthropology, the study of cultures. We've never discovered a culture where gift giving is not an expression of love. It's universal to give gifts as an expression of love. The gift says, they were thinking about me. Look what they got for me. And the gifts don't have to be expensive. You know, I've said to guys, why don't you do what your children do? Every mother has received a dandelion from their kid. Now, I'm not suggesting giving her dandelions, but go in your backyard and clip a flower and give it to her. No flowers in your yard, your neighbor's yard. Ask them, they'll give you a flower. And then there's quality time. Giving your spouse your undivided attention. I do not mean sitting on the couch watching television together. Someone else has your attention. I'm talking about TV is off, computers down, not answering the phone, looking at each other, talking and listening to each other. Or you could take a walk down the road and talk as you go, or go out to eat, assuming that you talk. So giving them your undivided attention. And number 5 is physical touch. In a marriage, that is such things as holding hands, kissing, embracing, the whole sexual part of marriage, arm around the shoulder, driving down the road, you put your hand on their leg, sitting around the house and they walk by and you trip them. No, don't do that one. Okay, erase that one. And here's the simple concept, Pete. Out of those 5 love languages, each of us has a primary love language. One of the 5 speaks more deeply to us emotionally than the other 4. We can receive love in all 5. But one of them really speaks to the heart. And that's true whether you're talking about an adult, or you're talking about a married adult, a single adult, a child, a teenager. Everybody agrees our deepest emotional need on the human level is the need to feel loved by the significant people in your life. And so this helps you communicate love effectively and meet that deep emotional need.
And you know what's crazy for me is understanding that for Kim and I at a very young or younger age, it was crazy because I was loving her, but I was loving her in my primary language, and she was loving me in her primary language. Mine was words of affirmation. And Kim, I could be wrong on this, but hers was at that time either acts of service or quality time.
Yeah.
I was giving her words of affirmation, but it wasn't her primary. It was my primary, and she was giving me hers, but I didn't hear it. That's a common mistake people make, right?
Yeah, that's typically what we do. Whatever makes us feel loved, we assume that would make them feel loved, but that's a false assumption. And so I did the same thing in the early years of our marriage. I gave her words of affirmation, how nice she looked, how much I appreciated what she did. I told her a dozen times a day, I love you, honey. I am so glad I married you. I love you, love you, love you. One night she said, you know, you keep on saying I love you. If you love me, why don't you help me? I was blown out of the saddle because in my mind, I loved her. In her mind, if I loved her, I would be helping her. So yeah, and that's why I think couples can be sincere, but they miss each other emotionally because they're not speaking the other person's language.
So I feel like as our marriage has evolved or grown, we've been married, we're going on 18 years this summer. I feel like even some of her love language has shifted. What's your philosophy or what's y'all's thoughts on that? Can your love language change as you grow and age and mature?
Well, I think basically the primary love language tends to stay with us for a lifetime, like a lot of other personality traits. But having said that, I think there are seasons of life in which another love language may jump to the top. For example, if a mother has a couple of preschool children, acts of service may not be her primary love language, but during those years, it'll probably jump to the top because she's overwhelmed with all the responsibilities. And here's another scenario. If your number one and your number two are very, very close, and you get enough of number one, you may begin to think, I don't know, I think number two has become number one. But if they stop doing number one, you'll quickly know, oh, no, that's still my love language. Yeah. So I think, those are the caveats, but basically it tends to stay with us throughout a lifetime.
And even as a kid, so us determining what our kids' love language is, that's super important too, isn't it?
Yes, and you can discover a child's primary love language by the time they're 4 years old. Mm-hmm. Observe their behavior. How do they respond to you? When my son was that age and I would come home from work, he would run to the door, grab my leg and climb on me. He's touching me because he wants to be touched. Our daughter never did that. At that age, our daughter would say, Daddy, come into my room. I want to show you something. She wanted my undivided attention. So it's there very early in a child's life. And if you don't learn their primary language, again, you can love them and they won't feel loved. So I say to parents, the question is not, do you love your children? The question is, do your children feel loved? You know, he's 13 years old. He's in my office, my counseling office. He's run away from home. And he says to me, my parents don't love me. I knew his parents. I knew they loved him, but he didn't feel loved because they weren't speaking his love language. So, and please don't hear me saying that you only speak a child's primary love language. No, heavy doses of the primary, then sprinkle in the other four. We want the child to learn how to give love and receive love in all 5 languages. Most of us did not receive that growing up. So some of these we have to learn as an adult. But if you give a child heavy doses of their primary, you sprinkle in the other 4, you're going to raise an emotionally healthy child, and they're going to fare well in the adult world.
Wow. Hey, so if people want to go figure it out, I haven't taken it in so long. Like you see, I'm ancient. I'm like 18 years ago is when I took it. They can go get the quiz. Does the quiz cost anything?
No, it's free.
It's free.
Free. Go to. In fact, they told me that, I don't know, 40 million people have taken the quiz. And I told my publisher who puts the quiz online, I said, you guys should have been charging $1 a piece.
Or even 99 cents, right?
And they said, no, we want to help people, you know. So yeah, go to 5lovelanguages.com, the number 5lovelanguages.com. There's a quiz for married couples. There's a quiz for single adults. There's a quiz for children. There's a quiz for teenagers. So during this time, if you're kind of at home all together, this will be a great time for the whole family to take the quiz and get this on the front burner. We want to be a loving family. We're going to learn how to discover and speak each other's love language. This could be a great time for a family to do that.
I love this so much, Gary. When John told me you were coming today, I just thought right now with families being so at home and connected and beginning to understand that, I could see a shift. Like my wife understands mine and I understand hers more. And it's important, like it's super important. And just like a couple of weeks ago, she's like, just being able to have, that extra time to sleep every morning after I've been with the kids all day. And I was reminded, like, I can say, I love you, baby. You're so awesome. You're taking care of our kids. But what shows it for her is me getting up with Shiloh 60, 70% of the time the last couple of weeks during the midst of this crisis. That's what shows her love. It's not the words, but her telling me, babe, I'm so proud of how hard you work and what you do for this family. It's like I'm on cloud 9, baby. I'm like, yeah, thanks, babe.
Absolutely. That's why before I leave the house, anytime I leave the house, I make sure the trash has been taken out. Yes. And my wife sees that empty trash can. She says, he's the greatest husband in the world. Yeah. I know that's hyperbole, but it sounds like love to me.
I'll tell you a little. I get my son to do the trash. So there we go. I get the son to do the trash.
That counts.
Yeah, that counts. So Gary, today I'm going to give everybody a final homework assignment, and you're going to stay backstage with us and answer some questions as well. Our goal is to give away $1 million to charity through this challenge. As of this morning, we've had 137,000 people register for this entrepreneurial challenge. And we don't have all entrepreneurs here, but we have a lot of people here who are committed to rising up in all areas of their life, and their families and their relationships are the most important one to me. Obviously the relationship with God matters, and tomorrow is our faith day. But today it's our family day, and that's such an important thing. So final thoughts that you have for all the families out there.
Well, in as much as you mentioned God, I do have a book called God Speaks Your Love Language. It talks about our relationship with God and how that interfaces. But I would just say to families, nothing is more important to the emotional development of an intimate family relationship than communicating love in a meaningful way to those family members. I like to picture every one of us has an emotional love tank. And if the love tank is full, that is, we genuinely feel loved by our spouse or by our parents, life is pretty beautiful. But if the love tank is empty, life begins to look dark. So making the choice to speak your spouse's love language and meet that emotional need really does enhance the whole emotional climate. In fact, I've had many, many people through the years say, Gary, that book, The 5 Love Languages, literally saved our marriage. We were next door to divorce, and somebody gave us the book and we read it, and it was like the lights came on. And then we took the quiz and we started speaking each other's language. It absolutely saved our marriage. And I believe it could also save the lives of many, many young people, children and teenagers, if they genuinely feel loved by their parents.
Gary, thank you on such short notice for being with us, man. It's been a treat. So
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We'll see you backstage in just a second.
All right.
Hey, everybody, 3 pages of notes today. Wow, what a day. Everybody asks me like, who's your favorite speaker? I'm never going to say that. Are you kidding me? Like, all of them have been really great. But I can tell you, there's been something really sweet about today for the family. Very powerful. And I know a thought leader or an expert isn't supposed to use the word sweet or love, or a lot of them don't even use the word family. Yeah, so true. A lot of them don't even use the word family. A lot of them don't use the faith. And I'm okay with that. Like family day, today's family day. And it's a sweet day. It's a sweet day. There's a richness to today. And I don't know how I can tell you, I didn't pull it together. I got confirmation this morning at 7:30 a.m. with a FaceTime from John Rulin, who connected me and Gary to say Gary would love to be on there. I was like, wow, confidence, resilience, love. Guys, I hope you will. I can't believe there's not 10,000 people here today. There's 3,000. Should be 10,000 here today. No speaker has made any offer through 21 days of this. They've come to serve and give back. And you guys have been the beneficiaries of receiving from them. And so, team, I don't know if y'all shot me anything. There's two things I'm going to ask you to do today. Our worksheet, Erica, our worksheet that we produce, I want them to really do a good job of rating themselves in the 4 areas that Coach Burt talked about today, which has to do with the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. So on our workshop today, I want you to rate your whole person. And I also want you to tell us what you're going to do to improve that area. I want the workshop to ask them the question, if my life was a book, how would I want the book to end? And I want that to be, and I want you to do a little bit of journaling of what the chapters coming out of this crisis in our time and in our world's history. What are you going to do to change the next chapter? Do you know what I did to change the next chapter? I conducted this challenge. That's what I did. That's what my team did. But you got to write a chapter. You can't just be consuming. You got to go actually take action and write the next chapter. And then the third thing I want them to take inventory of, Erica, is I want to know what the primary love language is for anybody in their household. Their husband, their wife, their kids. Maybe they want to find out what their parents are. I want them to know what the primary love language is. Gary's giving you a resource for free to go find out what your primary love language is. To find out what your primary love language is. And so I want to know those 3 things. Like, what a day. What a day. How incredible has this day been? But we're not done there. And I hope none of you on Facebook leave me, because I want to honor our speakers right now. I want to honor all of our speakers. Let me see if I can find this. Rachel, maybe you can. Okay, here we go. Got it. We're going to go apply the love languages to all of our speakers. We're going to go apply the love languages to all of our speakers. And so this is what I want you to do. I today want you right now to go to riseupworld.com/thank you. riseupworld.com/thank you. And every speaker that has been on this challenge is on there. Every speaker that has been a part of this challenge is on there. And what I want you to do is I'm requesting you to write a sentence or 2 on any speaker you heard, thanking them for what they did for you. Now, yes, it might take you 30 minutes, but they gave us 23 days. They gave us $5 million of keynote fees. I know you can see this online. Like, Amy's a consistent $40,000 keynoter. And today she went up in my mind. She's a $75,000 keynoter, but consistently. And she gave us her time today. Gary, same thing. Coach Burt, same thing. Like, we had one person on here, I won't say their name. I booked them for $200,000 on an international gig. So I'm requesting, we are going to send them gifts. My friend, John Rulin, who connected me and Gary, all of you need to follow his work. Giftology. John Rulin has donated $30,000, and he is helping us get all of the speakers, and Gary and Coach and everybody here today that's being not a surprise element for them, but we're doing some really special gifts. We are, for all of our speakers. And these notes that you write to them today, gifts, words of affirmation, gifts, words of affirmation. We're going to take those notes that are most powerful, and we're going to create like a collage of notes for them, and we're going to send them the gift. We're going to send them the notes. And I've asked my team to pay attention to the notes that are the most powerful, because I might have some of you who have some powerful notes to some of the speakers that made an impact on your life deeply. I might have you record a video, and I will personally text message them your video because of how you showed up on this riseupworld.com/thank you worksheet. riseupworld.com/thank you worksheet. And here's what I'm asking. Write every speaker you heard a note. So if you've only heard 5, you don't have a lot of work to do. If you heard 50, you got some work to do. But here's the step deeper. I want you to write the 5 that really made a profound impact on your thinking, your business, your health, your wealth, your mindset, your relationships. I want you to write 5 of them a little bit longer than a couple of sentences. And I also want you to tell me in the column to the far right who those 5 speakers were, like based on impacting you, not favorite, not most dynamic. They're all great. I'm talking about who impacted you. I want to know that in the far right-hand corner, the 5 that you wrote the notes to, who were those 5? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to know that. And what we're going to do is we're going to send them an amazing gift with your amazing comments, and they will be blessed by you in the way that they've blessed you. If you haven't done anything up until this point, if you haven't made a comment, if you haven't posted in the Facebook group, first I'm going to say the chances that you're going to be engaged in life after this, like I'm just telling you, that's just kind of a reactive mode. That's kind of like a passive mode. It's time for you to start being proactive. It's time for you to start owning things and being completely committed. And this is the first step. If you haven't done anything, do this. And if you've done everything, do this. And if you've done a few things throughout the journey, do this. You've done no homework, a little homework, all the homework. I'm telling you, the people who will see the greatest results are the people who are literally engaged and continue to take action in this. And so I'm asking you today to go to riseupworld.com/thank you and write them a note. You'll submit it. I believe, I'm guessing. Jed, I'm assuming they just submit it. We'll get it. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll organize them and pull them all out and create something very powerful to send to them with and they'll know who wrote it. We'll send it. And then there will be a handful that we actually pull out and say, these are the most powerful. And we'll send some of those speakers personalized videos from you. And we'll get those from you. So here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to do that. That's not as much of a homework assignment, but the way that you bless our speakers. So yes, get it done this weekend. Get it done Saturday and Sunday, and get it submitted for us on, no later than Monday. Please, no later than Monday. But here's what I'm asking you to come into the group and do today. Talk about those 4 areas. Talk about that chapter of the book that you're going to write, and also talk about the love languages. I'm calling you out to talk about all 3 of them. You can talk about all 3 of them. You can type them, you can video them, but what are you going to do in those 4 areas? What's the next chapter of your book look like? And what are the love languages in your family? That's what I want you to do in the Facebook group as your homework assignment. I'm just asking you to give back to our speakers as well. riseupworld.com/thank you. And then here's the reminder. Last 2 things. Monday night, all of these amazing packages. Coach Burt has included his confidence course in the platinum level. All of those packages that are going back towards charity, all of those speakers' resources go away on Monday night at midnight Pacific Standard Time, because we had to put a close to them. And so go to riseupworld.com/give back and get those today. Get those today. Don't wait any longer. Don't wait any longer. Cool. The final thing for those of you that joined us late, Thursday we hosted a marathon day, and today you have the opportunity, and tomorrow you have the opportunity to watch encores of it, because we got hundreds of people requesting it. And so we're not sending you out the replays, but if you want to go and watch the encore of it, you can pick 3 different times. riseupworld.com/encore. riseupworld.com/encore. So yeah, I gave you 3 links today. All of them have to do with Rise Up World. Encore, thank you, and give back. And one of the greatest ways you can give back is by thanking them, but by taking them up on all of those different packages that they contributed and donated back to, so we can get to our $1 million goal for charity. So lots of love. Tomorrow, I just got a text. I'm working on something. I got something up. I got something up my sleeve for tomorrow that I'm stoked about. Let's see if I can play this right now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Rich Wilkerson Jr. from Miami.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here's tomorrow's speaker.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Rich Wilkerson Jr. from Miami, Florida. And I am so excited for tomorrow's Rise Up Challenge. I cannot wait to come and speak to you on this Faith Sunday. You know, I know we are in difficult times right now. That's why I'm so grateful for this platform, for this space, the Rise Up Challenge, because I know it's encouraging all of us. And tomorrow, my message is really on this idea of faith. Faith, by definition, is to be sure of what we hope for and certain of what we cannot see. And what an important message we need right now, because so many of us are looking around at the current climate. We're looking at the culture, we're looking at society, we're looking at the marketplace, and so many things seem to be full of fear. There's job loss. People are losing customers. Income is down for so many people. Yet what I want you to remember is that fear is not going to get you anywhere. You need faith. You see, where you're headed is more important than where you are today.
Woo!
And the question we all have to ask ourselves, more or am I becoming less? I don't want you to miss this session tomorrow. I want to encourage you. I really believe the best is in front of you, but you got to put faith at the forefront of your life. I love you guys. I'm going to see you tomorrow. It's going to be good. God bless.
Dude, John Gordon told me this guy will be one of the biggest known preachers in the world. He goes to Kanye's church in LA and preaches all of the time. I'm telling you, you guys are in for a treat tomorrow. He's coming. My buddy Daniel Grothy's coming, and we got something special in the middle tomorrow with the two of them on the front end and the back end. Tomorrow's going to be a powerful day. Monday, we close it out strong, back with more business on Monday. Go to those places, get the stuff done, serve our speakers. Thank you. Give back. Encore. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. We're going backstage.
I'm Coach Micheal Burt, and the #1 book that I've written over the last couple of years that could help you during these unusual times is a book I wrote called Inside the Mind of a Monster. Now, I want to give you that book. All you have to do is text 678-506-7543, because when you text that in, I'm going to give you a copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, and it's going to show you the habits and mindsets of top producers and how they attack every single day versus play defense. Don't you want to play offense? Get this book. I'm giving it to you, and I'm telling you, I'm going to turn you into a legendary creature.